Good day and welcome to another week of A Week at the Plot, and it's going to be a bit of a seed sowing week this week, and I'm doing that because A, it's time to sow quite a bit of different types of seed. B, I thought the weather is warming up, and C, I'm desperate to get some more seeds in. However, having had relatively mild weather over the past sort of week, the forecast now looks as though we're going to be dipping again at night to maybe sort of 7-8 degrees for a prolonged period going up to Easter, maybe 9 degrees at night. And ideally I'd much rather it was going to be 10 degrees or over with the seeds that I'm going to be sowing. But hey ho, there we are, needs must. And I'm sowing a variety of different veg this week, and maybe some flowers too. But of course I'm starting off with tomatoes, and I am sowing, I think, 5 varieties of tomatoes this year. I've done more than 5 in previous years, but I'm sticking to 5. I did think of sticking to 4, but then I saw some seed and I thought, no, I have to do that. So the seed that I was given last year that I must do is Mountain Magic. And when I say must, I don't mean I have to, but I mean I want to, therefore I must, therefore I'm going to. Mountain Magic was given to me by a plot holder 4 plots over, and he really enjoyed them, so I'm going to give them a go. Rose de Ben, this is seed that I got from Vivi. It was seed that she harvested in August 21. As you know, we keep all of our seed in the fridge in a Tupperware, so those seeds are going to be absolutely fine. I'm doing an absolute favourite of ours, and I'm not so, we certainly weren't the first to grow this in the sort of allotmenteering community on YouTube, but we certainly were one of the first and heralded it, and that is Amish paste. It's a really fantastic tomato, so brilliant for making pasta sauces, really brilliant. And the same year we grew that the first time, we also grew Pink Bulgarian, which was another one that I was toying with doing, but I've only got about 6 seeds, so I'm not going to be doing Pink Bulgarian this year. Black Crim, a variety that we absolutely adore. This is seed that I harvested in 2020, so that's great. And then last year, you may remember, we were sent some gift tomatoes from one of our subscribers, and they came from the Isle of Wight tomato company, and they had a fabulous yellow tomato in the variety pack that we got. It was absolutely delicious, so I saved some of the seed and we're going to be sowing that. I did contact the Isle of Wight tomato company and ask them, we received this, do you know what variety it was? And they just pointed me to a list of varieties and photos on their website, but unfortunately it looked like a couple of them, so I'm not sure, but I'm just calling it the Isle of Wight yellow. So those are our varieties. I'll do double the amount of Amish paste to the others. The others I'm really hoping we're going to use maybe more in salads, though the mountain tomato, I have no idea what Mountain Magic tomato, I have no idea what that is, so maybe I better do some googling and find out. I might find out it's a bush tomato, because all of these are indeterminate, which means that they can grow sort of quite tall. We've struggled in the last few years getting them to sort of 6 foot, and particularly last year I think, but hey ho, in Guernsey they would grow to, tomatoes we grew in the glass houses in Guernsey would get to 20 foot without any issue whatsoever. And those seeds are going to be sown into trays. As you can see, I don't really wash my trays. sown into trays, and I'll split them up as we did with the lettuce and the gazania seeds a couple of weeks ago. So yes, so I'll do a third one variety, a third another variety, a third another variety, and as I say, I'll do twice as much of the Amish paste. I will link to the grow along video that I did a couple of years ago on sowing tomatoes. I think I did it earlier, and I think I did it in the house, but you'll get the sort of general idea. The other seeds that I'm sowing today are yellow courgette and Vivi's cucumbers. So these are cucumber seeds that I saved from the plants that grew from seeds that Vivi gave me a couple of years ago. So those are going to be sown cucumbers 2 per pot, and I'll take out the weakest, and the courgettes I'm just going to sow them 1 per pot. And I think I've got plenty of cucumber seeds in this packet of courgette seeds. There's 10, so I think I will do 6 and see how they do, and if I need to sow more, I will sow more. Though we do have the gate sale coming up in June, so actually I think what I'll do is I'll sow all 10. That's what I'm going to do. Changing my mind. So I would like 6 courgette plants, and I would like 6 cucumber plants, so I think I'll sow 10 of each. So that's what I'm going to get on and do. And again, I've shown you in the grow along video how to sow courgettes and also cucumbers, so I will link to that here. But first of all, I need to make a bit of room in the greenhouse, and I'm also going to move the broad beans. They've come on, or one tray particularly has come on quite a bit in a week. Let me just show you. These are 2 trays of Claudia Aquadolce. As you can see, this one is really going for it. It's the one that's closest to the front. Not quite sure why it's going for it so well compared to this one. And the Karmazin is still pretty slow, but I'm going to move both of the Claudia Aquadolce. I'm going to move them into our grow house, which is over there, because I want to start hardening them off, and the grow house is a really good place to do that. Let me just take you over there. Here we are. You may remember that the top here, which used to be plastic, I put mesh in there, metal mesh, so the weather and the elements will really be able to get to these, but hopefully the wind will be chastened once the doors are shut. And this door I still need to put back on, which came off in the winter. But once the door's shut, the buffeting from the wind will be pretty minimal, though rain and breezes will be able to get in the top. So I've got this one in the top, and I've got the second tray down below. It will get a decent amount of sunlight down there. I'd love to be able to put them side by side, but 2 of these trays just don't fit side by side, which is a shame. I do think this mesh idea is a real winner. I found it really useful last year, and I think at some point I might look, now that I've got that workbench and I think my skills might allow, I might look at building something twice as wide, which has got mesh one side and perspex on the other side. Yeah, I might do that. But these are going to be decently sheltered in here, but still be able to be hardened off, even though we've got that cold weather coming. If I was moving these from a greenhouse into here, I would be doing it over maybe a good sort of 4 or 5 days or even a week. But as they're coming from the polytunnel, I'm going to risk it for a biscuit, and I'm pretty confident that they'll be fine. That's 2 rows of pots of cucumber closest to us, and then the 2 rows on the far side are the yellow courgette. So as I said, there's 1 seed per pot in the courgettes and 2 seeds per pot in the cucumbers, and I will take out whichever is the weakest cucumber seed if there happens to be 2 that germinate. And we got really good germination last year, so fingers crossed we do again this year. Tomatoes in these front 2 trays, Amish paste here, then we've got black crim at the back, then we've got rose de ben. What have we got there? We got Mountain Magic there, which means oh yeah, the Isle of Wight yellow, that's there. And then just an update on germination from a couple of weeks ago. Thankfully, some of the Groninger Brussels sprouts have germinated. I can see 5 having germinated there, but you can't really see because of the perlite in there. But when you compare that here to maybe 15, 16 germinated in the dazzling blue kale and 15 or 16 again in our own save seed hybrid, it's pretty poor germination here, but maybe more will come through. And then over here the gazanias are beginning to get true leaves. Not sure if you can see that. I think I'll be potting these on relatively soon. The outrageous lettuce is beginning to take on a little bit of red. Not sure if you can see that. And at the back, our own save seed, can't remember what that was. I don't think, no, can't remember what that was, but that's doing fine as well. So what I have noticed is these trusty covers that we've had for several years, they're beginning to go. Even though they're sort of made to be used in sunshine, the plastic does break, and you can see it's chipped here, chipped along here, and it's cracked up here. I think we've got about 4 of these, so I'll do a bit of remedial work with tape on here so that it doesn't break and open. But I think we're going to have to think about replacing those at some point. Hey ho. I have to say it's feeling a little bit nippy now. It really is. It's about 5:15, something like that, and despite having had decent temperatures over the past week, as I said earlier, the next 8 to 10 days look as though they're going to be chillier, and I'm certainly feeling it at this very moment. And you know, that's fine for the brassicas, for the gazanias, and for the lettuce. The tomatoes and the cucumbers and the courgettes, they would actually like it a tad warmer. So you know, good luck to those seeds, because even though they're in the greenhouse, so the tomatoes are in the greenhouse, the courgettes and the cucumbers are in the poly, even though they are under cover, the poly will be ambient, the greenhouse will be a little above ambient temperature. They won't have any wind chill factor. I mean, there's hardly a breeze here at the moment, but generally it's a little chillier than they like. So yeah, fingers crossed. But I want to get them in, I want to get them going, so I hope that they will do well. And I've been down here, I left home about 2:30, and I met people on the way here, 2 lots of people on the way here. I met somebody as I was coming in the gate. Then there was somebody who's leaving that wanted to ask me a question about the positioning of a new greenhouse that they're having. and then after I had sown the tomatoes, I then came and put them in the greenhouse, and then 3 other people, plot holders, passed in front of the front of my plot here. So they started chatting. So we were chatting for about 20 minutes. So yeah, it's been rather a chatty afternoon, which has been lovely. And actually, you know what? I've got done the jobs that I wanted to get done. So yeah, I've achieved my jobs for today. We need to do more sowing later in the week, and I will be back here to do that with you then. We're already noticing, you may have heard parakeets in the background of some of this recording, but we're already noticing that parakeets are beginning to avoid the area, and that's because the peregrines are back on Ealing Hospital, nesting in their nest box. In fact, they've already got an egg. So it's really interesting. I didn't know they were back. I haven't been following it closely, but I've been thinking, oh, there seems to be less parakeets around. And yeah, I think that's why they're now avoiding the area, because it's a hunting ground for the peregrine falcons now. Anyway, there we are. I haven't seen them yet. I thought I heard one the other day when I was down here on Saturday, but I wasn't sure. Somebody was talking to me and I thought I heard it, and when I looked behind me I couldn't see it, so I wasn't sure. But now that I know that they are there, I'm sure it was actually the and as I actually talk to you at the moment, there is one flying right along there. Amazing. There was no point in me, they go so fast, they really do. But yeah, it was on a hunt to find food. Anyway, I am not on a hunt to find food. We know that there is food growing here, and I know that there's food in the fridge, so all I need to do is either harvest or open the fridge door. Right, stop waffling, Paul. See you very soon for more seed sowing. Bye. Good day. We have here 3 honeyberries, which are an edible honeysuckle, and they have been sent to us by a subscriber, Patricia. She actually sent us the money for them, and then we purchased them online. And they're like a sort of elongated blueberry, and Patricia bought some from the supplier we got these from a couple of years ago, apparently, and has really enjoyed them and thought that we would like them. And as they can be easily potted up and transported, I said, yeah, sure. So here we are. I think they sort of grow relatively big, but I'm going to have to look that up. But these certainly look pretty healthy to me. They've taken obviously from cuttings. You can see the original cutting here, and I reckon it's that one there. And yeah, they've grown pretty well. I think what we're going to do at some point this week is pot them up into bigger pots and then just leave them be for a year and see how they shape up, because if they grow well, we may even be able to take some cuttings from them in the autumn of this year. But I don't think, I mean, we're not obviously not expecting these to fruit this year, but I think they're really good plants. I think they're really decent plants. And of course, this is sort of something that I've thought of doing, selling sort of plants online. And maybe it's something for the future. Maybe it's something for the future. Certainly, I know quite a few of you were interested in our josterberries. But, you know, cuttings don't always go to plan, of course. So last year, as you know, we took that fabulous red hawthorn. We took 30 cuttings and none of them came to anything. And then on a sort of nothing ventured, nothing gained pruning cycle of our 2 roses earlier in the year, a month or so ago, we did some cuttings from the prunings, and let's have a look at those and see how they're getting on. Here are our rose cuttings, and as I say, nothing ventured, nothing gained, opportunity sometimes, and this one is certainly a nothing gained. So at the front are the white iceberg rose cuttings, at the back are the pink Queen Elizabeth rose cuttings, and shortly after we did these from prunings, the temperature really dipped at night, and I noticed even the following day that they had become bitten by frost, and they're just not going to get going. I can clearly see that. So they didn't work for us. However, if I move these to one side, here and over here in the middle, we have rose cuttings from the miniature roses that we bought last year at Lidl, and I think it's fair to say we've got 2 remaining here which are doing fine, 2 remaining here, and 1 remaining over there. So I don't know what colours they are, because of course I didn't make a note. I will look back in the video, because I think I did say how they were sort of set out in the video. But certainly I think we've got 5 rose cuttings here which will be relatively decent. Have they got any root? Oh yes, look, they do have root. Look at that. So I think these, no root there, but I think these will be potted on a bit later this week. But in the meantime, I'm going to put this compost into where we're going to be putting the carrots and parsnips. So yes, on a nothing ventured, nothing gained experiment of taking cuttings from prunings in midwinter when it was freezing, no, that didn't work. But you know what? I'm pleased to have these 5, because they are going to be, I hope, lovely miniature roses. Of course, despite having sown these only a few days ago, cucumber on the left, courgette on the right, I did check to see if any had germinated, and of course they haven't, not surprisingly. But I'm continuing the week of seed sowing, so I'm going to be sowing beetroot chioggia, butternut squash, these are sent from Vivi, and golden beetroot, so a sort of yellow beetroot. And I'm going to be sowing the beetroot in module trays, so they'll be multi-sown in module trays. And in fact, I think I'm going to put the squash into module trays as well. So we will have 3 modules, 1 of beetroot chioggia, 1 of butternut squash, and 1 of golden beetroot. And as I say that, I'm still mulling whether actually, I don't think it's sensible to do the butternut squash in here, because they need a little bit more space for their roots. So I'm going to be sowing them into this size pot like we did the other day. I think those need a bit of a water, though again I put my finger down and it's well moist underneath. Such a fabulous word, moist. And what's also fabulous is today is not moist. It's rather lovely. It was sunny a minute ago. The sun keeps on coming in and out. And I'm just going to leave it there for today. I will link to our videos of sowing beetroot, and I think we've got, well, you saw me sow squash earlier in the week, but if we've got a squash video, I'll link to that as well. And I will see you again later in the week. But before I go, our rhubarb, this one we actually have as an ornamental. We let it go to seed each year because it loves flowering and going to seed. Look at that, the flower is already there, and there's another one here, another one there. So we're going to have 3, if not 4, all 4 flower spikes this year. And I really do love this. It's next to our washing up bowl ponds, one above ground and then this one below ground. And this one below ground, I've seen activity in there, and who knows, we've got no spawn yet, but I do know that we've got frogs back. Oh, and talking about frogs, polyfrog is back, so that's rather lovely. No movement yet in our below ground pond over here, but there's time. Right, I'm going to leave it there. See you again soon. Oh, what are those birds over there? I don't think you'll have seen them on camera. I think they were woodpeckers. Ooh. Our peregrine falcons are nesting up here. That's Ealing Hospital, and if you go onto the Ealing Wildlife Group webcam on YouTube, you can actually see them nesting. Yeah, rather lovely. Anyway, I'm going to go and crack on with work. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. Well, we had a work party this morning, Saturday morning, and it was rather lovely and sunny and fabulous, and we got a good amount of work done. And then it got to I went home for lunch. It got to 3 o'clock and I thought I'm going to go down and do some strimming, and I got down 5 minutes ago. I had my sunglasses on when I left the house, and I certainly don't need them now because it is raining, so no strimming will be done today. Hey ho. Having dived from the shed into the poly to do some seed sowing in what was then a horrendous torrential shower, and really blustery shower, you can most probably see that the skies are turning to blue again rather than grey, and it's back to being rather lovely. But what I wanted to strim is absolutely sodden now, so there's no strimming this afternoon. So just as well I brought some seed down to sow. I came down to do strimming, and with that torrential shower I can't do that. So I was going to sow butternut squash seeds, which Vivi sent us a few years ago, maybe 18 months ago. And I went to look in the packet and I thought, this packet's already open. And then I remembered I sowed those yesterday. So I had a seed sowing session down here on my own yesterday. I sowed chard in modules, spring onions and parsley in modules, scabious in modules, scabious, yellow scabious that Shaz has sent us of the Kingstone 8, and sunflowers I sowed as well. And what else did I do? Oh, the butternut squash. I put those into pots. I sowed those into pots. So I don't have butternut. Well, I do have butternut squash seeds to sow, but I don't need to sow any at the moment. So I've just really gone around and watered all the seedlings and everything that was sowed yesterday to make sure that it's all sort of nice and moist and absolutely fine. So actually that's it for this week's A Week at the Plot. And as you can see, I'm back in the shed. It's sunny. I mean, if only that shower had held off a bit, you know, I would have been able to, just for half an hour, I'd have been able to get the strimming done. And this is something, I was having a chat with Vivi earlier in the week, and Vivi said, you know, try and keep on top of your strimming this year, because you're sort of, you know, you're quite ahead at the moment, so try and keep on top of that strimming. So when there was a sort of gap this afternoon, and I thought, yeah, I can get down there for another hour and do some strimming. Vivi says get down and do strimming, and yeah, it hasn't worked out, but there we are. And peat-free compost. I'm going to talk about peat-free compost another time, actually, because I think this is already about half an hour. But it is glorious sunshine now. I've uncovered the brassicas from the netting, so I've taken off the netting. So there's nothing that is netted at the moment on the site, and I think that's rather lovely. We need to have netting here for pigeons, well, not for pigeons, to deter pigeons from pecking brassicas, but we're now at the stage with all of our brassicas that they're going to flower, so I will just let them flower now, and if the pigeons want to get to them, fine. Obviously with the flowers coming, bees and other pollinators will be able to get to them too. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here, and I will not waffle on today. I'm sure I've done that another day anyway. Whatever is happening in your garden, your growing space, or your allotment, I hope you are able to dodge showers and things to get jobs done. If you've got any comments or any questions, please do put them down below. And of course, there'll be further segments throughout next week on Planet Vegetaria as we move up to Easter, because it's Easter in the UK at the end of next week. And of course, there'll be another full upload on Easter Monday of A Week at the Plot. Hope all is good with you. See you very soon. Happy growing. Bye.